Howdy, folks. I'm Curious Curium, courageously curtailing conniving curtains,
I'm Amber.
and I hear they're very courteous curtains,
Are they now?
even if they are conniving. But let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Leaving in the Middle of a Celebration Because of the Toast That My Wife Gave? I'm a 25-year-old male, and I married my wife, a 31-year-old female, 3 years ago. She's currently pregnant with our first baby together. We found out it's a boy, and my in-laws wanted to invite us for dinner for the gender reveal announcement and celebration. We got there, saw many relatives coming to congratulate us and celebrate. It was bigger than expected, which made me nervous because I'm not a fan of being around so many people. We sat at the dinner table and I barely ate. I was feeling so much anxiety and was sort of upset that my wife didn't warn me about how many people were coming. But I tried to stay calm and collected. Anyways, after the announcement and in the middle of the celebration, my wife wanted to give a toast. She opened up a bottle and poured a drink and wished that our son be healthy, happy, but look nothing like me. Everyone at the table laughed. I sat there in shock while she kept laughing with them. I felt so much rage and my anxiety just got out of hand. I'm not gonna lie. I got up and I took my bag and I made my way out. Her mom followed me asking if I was okay. I told her that I just wanted to go home. My wife came to the door asking what was wrong. That's when we started arguing. She said that it was a joke toast and that my reaction was over the top. But the thing is that ever since she got pregnant, she kept hinting that she doesn't want our son to look like me. She even once got up in the morning and first thing that she told me was how much she wished our son looked nothing like me. It hurt me while I'm already dealing with low self-esteem and anxiety. I wanted to go home, but she said that I was being a baby and that I should learn to take a joke. I said that she made everyone laugh at me, but she defensively said that it didn't warrant me to walk out of dinner and be so disrespectful to the relatives who came to celebrate and share our joy. I went home and she called many times telling me to get my insecurities in check before I pass them on to our son. She urged me to get therapy and stop acting so dramatically, like how I did in front of everyone. I think that leaving dinner wasn't the best solution, but I just got overwhelmed. Alright, folks, what do you think? Not best solution or the best possible solution?
Yeah, I mean, I think OP, you handled the situation well. What your wife said was horribly cruel and insensitive, and the fact that she's been repeatedly picking at this means that either she's just like using this to manipulate you, or she genuinely believes it.
It doesn't matter whether she believes this or not. What matters is how OP feels, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying that you're implying one way or another. She is punching down.
Mm-hmm.
OP has some insecurities, and we all have some insecurities, and she is playing on those insecurities and punching down at him. She turned him into the joke. She had everyone laughing at him. He wasn't laughing with everyone. Everyone was laughing at him. And I think that was horribly cruel. And for her to say that this is something that he needs to get in check is just ridiculous,
Well,
right?
no, exactly, and it's some like feels like classic abuser
Yeah.
language here. This whole "oh, you're overreacting" line, like it just feels very manipulative, and like she's trying to diminish him and make him feel like less than.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just honestly, OP, maybe time to reevaluate the relationship. Like it sounds like she doesn't care about your feelings. She likes hurting you. She likes saying things that she knows hurt you.
Yeah, this isn't a healthy relationship. A good partner isn't going to make fun of your looks, and isn't going to make fun of your looks in front of a whole bunch of people, right?
Right.
And I mean, maybe if you were secure about that, and you're like, you know what? I'm an ugly guy, and I don't care. I got a hot wife or something like that, and this is something that never bothers them. Then that might be one thing to make a joke about, right? But usually, a joke like that has to come from the person who is in that situation, right?
Right. It's fine to be self-deprecating. So if she had said something like like about, oh, well, I hope that the baby has my husband's looks because they're not getting anything from me.
Yeah.
Like that would have been fine because it's kind of hit her, the target is herself.
Yeah. So I think that again, OP didn't do anything wrong here. They did the best possible thing by leaving the situation. They don't need to stand for this kind of abuse. And that's my thoughts. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Blocking My Boyfriend from Accessing My Money? My boyfriend Ben, a 35-year-old male, and I, a 33-year-old female, have been together for 2 years. When we started going out, he had a job and lived alone. After we moved in together 6 months ago, we didn't combine our finances, we split bills in half. But we also didn't nickel and dime each other. Whoever picked the groceries paid, etc. It wasn't a problem. If he didn't have the money, he used my card to pay for things, with permission. Sometime after, he quit his job because he didn't like it. And he's been without a job for the past 4 months and he's not looking. He said that he needs to relax a bit, and I ended up paying his portion of the bills. However, I noticed that he started spending a lot of the money on himself, not necessities, and it really annoyed me. We've had conversations about this numerous times. Last month, I told him that he had a month to find a job, any job, even part-time fast food positions, so he could handle his own expenses while looking for a better position. Well, it's been a month and he hasn't started looking. I've had enough after seeing more silly purchases, clothes that he doesn't need, games, takeout when we have food. I got a new bank account, I blocked the old one that he had access to, and I told him that he had to find a job. That the food is in the house and that he can take what he wants, but he won't have access to my money and he has to find a job or move out. I told him that and I warned him. He didn't take it well. He started accusing me of financial abuse. He called all his family and friends and they're all calling me and messaging me on social media, posting publicly about what a monster I am. He called me a jerk, amongst other things, and other people did too. So many people agreeing with him. And I'm wondering, am I the jerk for blocking him from accessing my money? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. And if these people are so concerned, why don't they give him the access to their bank accounts? Like, this is not financial abuse. What he is doing is he is taking your money. Like, this isn't a situation where he's just fallen on hard times and, you're like keeping him from necessities. He is using your money to buy luxury goods while also just contributing nothing to the household, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, coercion is when you basically use something to leverage against someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And if OP was leveraging this to make him do certain things,
or to make him dependent.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a better way of phrasing it.
Well, it's kind of the opposite. She's trying to push him to be independent.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not like he's in a situation where he held down a job before. It just sounds like he wants to mooch off of OP and not have to work. And honestly, this does not seem like a good relationship. I'd seriously consider whether you want to be with someone who is just going to mooch off you indefinitely any chance he gets.
Yeah, and there might be a little bit of a different situation if he was actually trying to work at like building a business or develop skills or something else where it was something that they were comfortably able to afford, but he was trying to like set himself up for better positions. But it just sounds like all he's doing is kind of fiddling away his time, fritting away his time. That's the word I was looking for. Or fiddling. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Husband That He Cannot Eat That Food? I'm a 32-year-old female and my husband is a 38-year-old male. And we've been married for 10 years. For the context, I live in a family so poor that we often lack the most basic things, like food. And I have had after effects, like Joey and Friends. Alice doesn't share food. My husband thinks that food should be shared, and most of the time, I manage to control myself and agree with him. The problem being that I'm like a little squirrel and I like to put things that I like aside so that they're still there when I want to eat them, even if it's a month later. He, for his part, eats whatever he likes almost all at once, and generally, when I come home thinking of eating the thing that I've put aside, he has, of course, already eaten it. What follows next? An argument over always the same reason. I had put it aside and I really wanted to eat it. I don't think that it's fair to always be frustrated at the moment when I'm looking forward to eating something because you didn't know how to control yourself and leave me some. Last time, when I bought some duck mousse that I thought I would eat with some Morissettes with our daughter when I didn't feel like cooking, my husband took the duck mousse to eat. When I kindly told him that it wasn't for him because I was leaving it aside for later, but that in return I had bought him some cheese and some cold meats. He, of course, immediately got angry, accusing me of appropriating the food and that it wasn't a tragedy if he ate it now and he could have bought more. I had just come back from shopping for groceries, so am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. And if it's not that much of a deal, then why doesn't he go out and buy himself his own? It's one thing if you're safeguarding all the foods and not letting him have anything, but it sounds like you just want to set little portions aside and you just have specific occasions when you want to eat them and you don't want to gobble it all at once. And I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, I think this is a couples therapy problem at this point in time. It seems like you two are on different pages here. He's not listening when you try to communicate with him, and maybe couples therapy would help you to develop some communication skills in order to kind of help him see where you're coming from and maybe even, see where he's coming from too. I'm not saying that necessarily he has the best point here, but I'm sure that there could be some middle ground. I really don't think that OP's in the wrong though with wanting to set aside portions of food for themselves later.
Well, and I'm pretty much exactly like OP. And the thing is that if I have something set aside that, Brian will ask me before he eats it, or Amber, are you going to eat this? And if I'm like, yes, then he just leaves it for me. He doesn't go wolf it down and be like, well, we can get more some other time.
Well, and I mean, it's kind of where I'm coming from in this is that sometimes Amber will leave food to the point where it will go bad if she doesn't eat it. And my only thought is I don't like wasting food, so I'm like, well, you have to probably eat this soon, otherwise it's gonna go bad.
Yeah, well, my only point is like you don't go
Yeah,
around eating
yeah.
foods that I said that I want. Like
Yeah.
it's fine. Like yes, there should be communal food in a household, but it's also fine for people to have some individual things. And it seems like OP can't ever set something aside.
Yeah.
And like not everyone wants to gobble things at once. Like maybe you buy some donuts and you're like, I might like this for breakfast tomorrow, but I'm not in a donut mood tonight. And then, husband just eats them all because he eats it whenever. And like, that's not fair.
Yeah, and I mean, also the fact that he's eating everything all at once, I think that is a little bad in the respect that like it doesn't give OP a chance to have any of the leftovers of whatever she set aside too, right? So it just even goes beyond like he's not just eating it, he's eating all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be really hard when you're trying to plan out, when you're trying to prepare and, have a long-term calendar for types of things. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our last letter is an update. Am I the jerk for asking my new boyfriend to buy more Halloween candy because his niece took all mine? This is basically the title here, but the other day we read this. So basically the gist of this one is that OP had a party and OP's boyfriend's niece came over and stole all the candy. So let's get into this one. Update. I broke up with my boyfriend after he came over Saturday night. I wanted to talk without wine courage. He still refused to admit that it was rude for his sister to bring over her kid and wouldn't cave on anything. I bought new candy, lesson learned, or so I thought. Today, trick-or-treating started at 3:30, but I got home around 4:30. A few minutes after I got home, a man knocked on my door. Thinking that it was trick-or-treaters, I answered. He handed me a huge bag of candy, my dog collar, and a pumpkin. It was my ex-boyfriend's sister's husband. He apologized that it was after trick-or-treating started, but he said that he wanted to return my stuff. I thanked him, and he left. I wish that I had asked him more questions, but I was honestly in shock. Why did they have my dog collar? I dodged a bullet, guys. And there's a little bit more to this update in the comments here, and Pristine Payment says, what did your ex say when you broke up with him? And OP replies, he argued that it wasn't fair that his niece couldn't be there since she's family. He got offended that I was upset that my friends either paid for babysitters or their spouses stayed home because They'd have to do that for a date night, so what's the difference? He also claimed that it was my fault for leaving candy in my back room, even though it was a closed off area to the rest of the guests. Not by a door, just no one went back there. The only reason that his sister and his niece saw it is because it was their first time at my house and she asked for a tour. He never denied that she took the candy and also never explicitly admitted to it. It made me realize that no matter how valid my feelings are, he didn't care. Arguments happen, but there's a way to listen and respectfully disagree. He was disrespectful. It was never about the candy. All right, folks, what do you think of that update?
I mean, I think I'm glad that OP got out of that situation. It sounds like it could have been a disaster waiting to happen. I'm also really glad that the sister's husband returned the stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to wonder if maybe this is a pattern of behavior with the sister's kid. If she takes, like, the dog collar is such a random thing. And, like, maybe they have a dog and she's like, oh, this would be cute for our dog. But, like, you don't go over to people's houses and steal their dog collars and pumpkins and candy.
Yeah, I just want to know, how did this girl ferry all this candy out of the house, right? She was saying that this was $100 worth of candy, right? And not a single piece of it was left. That's got to be larger than a backpack. So I'm guessing that she had to have taken multiple trips out to her car and like dump it into the trunk or something like that, because I don't know how they would have taken that much candy out of the house otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, they could be living in a region where candy is more expensive, so it might just be like those size of those bags that we got from Target, but
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it's hard to say, I imagine that it was, but if they bought like 4 of those, then
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer to it, but it definitely seems like it was a lot of candy and that the sister was probably complicit in some way, if
yeah.
not OP's boyfriend also.
Exactly. So I feel bad that OP had their stuff stolen, but I'm glad that it was returned, and hopefully they didn't have too much leftover candy at that point in time, because they bought even more candy afterwards. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she must have a joke off the top of her head, so we will not have a jovial Bob sign joke.
Yeah.
Everyone cue your disappointment.
I forgot to grab the joke book, so I was like making one up. I realized with the third story, and so like when Brian was reading the update, I was trying to make up one on the spot. And so, why did the feline love sleeping on the nightgown?
Because they like taking cat naps.
Because it was the cat's pajamas.
Oh, it was the cat's pajamas? Yes, I guess that makes sense. That's at least better than jovial Bob Stein's jokes.
I mean, I don't know that I'd go that far, but I say for one that I made up while you were reading a story, it's not too bad.
That's just it. It's like, if you made that up while I was reading a joke, what excuse does jovial Bob Stein have? He has none. No excuses. And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior. We made it to the end of the week. I was like, what day of the week is it? Thank you to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, and happy Friday, Junior.
Yes, happy Friday, Junior. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it in the form of a joke that you make up on the spot.
What do you get if you cross a candy thief with a man with a monstrous ego?
You get Frankenstein's candy monster. Pinata. Frankenstein's pinata.
You get an ex-boyfriend.
Oh, that too. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.